Okay, my name is Warren Richard DeLando. D apostrophe capital Lando, and there's a story that goes with that. Uh, One of the aunts couldn't get a job in New York during the 30s, and she thought she would, well, it was due to Italian, they were biased against Italians. So she changed the name from the DeLandro to DeLando, kept the O, ruined it for everybody for generations now because there's so much problems with that apostrophe. And her name was Rose. And otherwise I am a DeLandro. So
So, your parents?
my parents, my dad's name was Pantaleone, which they did somehow or other dropped, and they called him, he was named Leon Frank, which is Pantaleone, that's the Leon. He dropped the Leon, he used it legally, but everybody called him Frank. My mother was Susie, her maiden name was Scaramuzzo. They were married in 1934, I guess. I have an older brother, Frank, deceased now, and I'm a middle child, a younger sister, 6 years younger, Susan Marie, and she's currently living in Yonkers, New York with her family.
Alright. What about your children?
Children. I have, by my first marriage, I have two children, Elena Lynn and Frank Christopher, and they are 53. She's the oldest at 53, and he is 47. So by my second marriage, I gained two more children, a boy and a girl. Stephen, who is 54, and Debbie, who is 50, I believe. Yeah, 50. So,
Alright.
got married, remarried in 1980. So we were a blended family. There were hardships and there were easy times, but they managed to survive until they moved out of the house. They didn't kill each other. They came close on several occasions, but currently two of them live in Arizona. That'd be my two, Frank and Elena. She drives I'm not sure what you call it. She works for a service that picks up elderly people and transports them, or not elderly, people that need help or need a ride to a hospital and doctor and what have you, and that's what she does. And Frank is a sheriff for the Phoenix County, and he works in the jail system. Debbie currently is a operating vice president of a company that deals with like a loss insurer type company. They check out your work sites, mostly construction and that type of sites, and advise you to correct problems that could possibly have insurance problems. Stephen he blows things up. He works with dynamite. And he does a lot of the preliminary work for construction sites, clearing the sites and what have you. And in Tennessee, there's a lot of, both of those, Debbie and Stephen live in the same community I live in, Mount Juliet. And there's a lot of rock in Mount Juliet, and he gets to blow a lot of things up. So that's it for children.
So, what year were you born?
I was born 1940
All right. Where were you born?
in Yonkers, New York. I was, let me think, 3 years younger. That my brother was 3 years older than I, and my sister is 6 years younger than I am. So,
We've heard a lot about Yonkers today for people being born. A lot of family was born up there.
New York.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, yeah, I don't know if, I don't think any of, no, I don't think any of the, of my cousins on the DeLandro side were born in Yonkers. They were all,
I think some of them lived there. I don't know if they were born there.
I don't know about that either. Now, there are some cousins other than the DeLandros. My father's aunt, they lived in Yonkers, and they had three boys and one girl. That would have been Aunt Linda. Her last name was DeVanzo. And they had 3 boys and a girl. They had Joe, who died in World War II, Rosie, who a lot of people will know because she started the genealogy on the DeLandro family. And then there was Andrea, Jackie, who recently passed away, and the younger brother was Aurelio DeVanzo, and he was called Chip. Everybody called him Chip, and he passed away about 4 or 5 years ago too. So.
All right. How did you meet? Who are you married to?
Elsie, my wife
Elsie.
is Elsie.
How'd you meet her?
She was friends with my next door neighbor. I had been divorced a couple of years, not even, maybe a year, and she used to live down the same street on the opposite side, 4 or 5 houses down. I don't think I knew her at that time, but she got divorced and moved, but would come back and visit her friend who was my next door neighbor. And I met her that way, and I don't know, maybe, I don't remember how much time passed, and I asked her out to dinner one time, or lunch, I don't recall. And we started seeing each other. We dated for 7 years, got married in 1980, and we've been married 37 years,
Wow.
so still going strong.
Nice. Impressive. So you already told us about how you are DeLando versus the DeLandros and how the name change came to be. So tell us how you're related to the rest of the DeLandros.
DeLandros, okay. Warren DeLandro,
Mm-hmm.
the patriarch of this family, was my grandfather Francesco's younger brother. So my dad is first cousins with Lulu, Joe, Sal, Dolly, Carmine, Sonny, Suzanne, Warren, and Linda. I am first cousin to all of those kids once removed.
So you're in the generation with Uncle Kevin, Aunt Chris, Eric, Aunt Laura.
No, I'm 77. They're nowhere near my age.
But you're cousins with them. Cousins
Oh,
once
yeah, I
removed.
would
Yeah, that's what I meant.
be second cousins with them. Yeah, Sal's daughter, Debbie, and I sat down, and she went through the levels, and yes, I'm second cousins to that generation, yeah. Even though I'm much older than they are.
Right, right.
Yeah. But see, my dad is only 10 years younger than Warren Delandro. So my grandfather was, I think, 15 or 18 years older than Warren. There's a big difference in the age bracket there. And his, let's see, Warren's younger sister, Linda, I believe, was born in 1902. And she would take care of my father as a little boy. So, and then they migrated to America in 1960. He was 6 years old. My dad was 6 years old when he came here.
All right. So you've experienced a lot. You've been around for quite a while.
Thank you.
Well, you've seen a lot. So
Yeah.
in terms of like decades that have come and gone, wars that have come and gone, presidents, that's things of that nature. What's your favorite thing that you've lived through, that you've gotten to see?
My favorite thing,
Like a historical
One
event,
that's
historical moment.
There's anything
well,
just-
I would say that would probably, golly, I was able to attend the festivities in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium when Pope John Paul II came. And we were seated very close to the front, and that was just a terrific moment. That was a moment I will never forget. And then shortly after his little boatmobile went by and whatever, there was a camera that was filming we were on the third base side. There was a camera filming from the first base side, and they just started zooming in, and they zoomed in, and they went right into the crowd where they were taking two people in the crowd, and those two people happened to be me and my wife. And they filmed us for about 15 seconds, and we sat there. We had no knowledge of it, of course. And that was quite a big deal for us. Other than that, I'd have to say it was probably a good moment, landing a man on the moon, a devastating moment, John F. Kennedy being assassinated. Those are three highlights,
Those are big moments.
big moments. I mean, they pale in comparison when you think about your firstborn, you know,
Right.
in terms like that, but that's your own private thing. The other is earth-shattering and world, affecting the world, you know.
So on that same note, you have 3 children?
I have 4.
4. Sorry. You have 4 children. Do you have like a memory of one of them, all of them, that sticks out to you a lot?
Oh. Golly. Yeah, I suppose each one of them has something I remember with my oldest, Elena. We were playing in the yard, and the spring on the garage door snapped, came down and hit her right on the head. Big heavy wooden door, and that was touch and go, rushing her to the emergency room and what have you. And she had a big bump on her head. She didn't have any neck damage or spine damage or anything like that, and they gave her a lollipop and sent her home 3 hours later, and we were so happy that, you know, I remember that very distinctly, because we were really scared she was gonna be seriously harmed from that episode.
Wow.
Frank, my son, one of the happiest moments I can remember is we went deer hunting. I guess it was, he was 19. Yeah, I think it was 19, so it had been 1989. And we both shot a deer on the same afternoon. We were deer hunting in Missouri. We weren't too far apart, probably half a mile apart, and we both shot a deer within 10 or 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour of each other. So that was kind of his first. I had no idea, but it was pretty exciting a time for both of us. Debbie, my daughter, Debbie and Stephen are Elsie's 2 children. So we were married in '80. She was about maybe 8 years old. No, a little more than that. See, trying to think, 67. And she was 12 or 13, I guess. And golly, there's so many things that we did together. But we both like amusement parks, and we both love roller coasters. And some of the finest memories are everybody else is sitting on the side, and we'd get on a roller coaster and go on a roller coaster. And that's one of the things I remember about her. Stephen lived with us for a while, and then he moved back to Tennessee. So he only lived with us for about 2 years, and then he moved back here. But there was a lot of fun times when we would go camping and boating and what have you. All the kids loved to boat. We had a canoe, and we had lots of fun running rivers and, paddling around lakes and what have you. So.
All right. So last question. So we're doing this, we're filming family members so that future generations can look back, can see them, hear stories, hear memories, things of that nature. So for those future generations that are watching, what's one piece of advice that you want them to keep in mind?
One piece of advice in any category, huh?
Any category, anything at all. It could be as simple as eat your vegetables.
I would have to say, I'm going to blend 2 things.
All right.
One is, don't rely on other people to provide for your later years. Make sure that you provide for your own retirement. And your retirement ain't gonna be worth a damn if you don't keep your health up. So don't smoke, don't drink, do the things you need to do to keep fit, and you'll have the money to do something when you're old, and you'll have the health to do it. That would be my advice.
All right. That sounds like pretty good advice.
Yeah, well, that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. All right.
How many people have you interviewed?
We got Joe and Kat.
Suzanne? Did you get Susie?
We got young Susie and Bobby and Susie. Bobby couldn't come in. And we got Warren and Alice. And then we got Warren, Susie, and Joe again.
No, no more. That's it.
No. I'm just telling what we did.
We'll see you in the morning.
Right,
Okay.
right. So